Welcome back to Andersen Acres. Today we're talking about one of the most joyful, dramatic, attention-seeking flowers you can add to your garden, the dahlia, or dahlia. Depending on your region, the pronunciation might vary a little bit. And yes, I call these guys attention-seeking because dahlias don't exactly do subtle. These beauties are like the divas of the flower world. They want full sun and rich soil and a nice spot where everyone can admire them. Honestly, I respect the confidence. Dahlias have been hybridized for centuries, which is why they come in an absolutely unbelievable variety of shapes, colors, and sizes. You can get everything from tiny pom poms to massive dinner plate blooms, some literally the size of your head, and they come in every color except true blue. Plants range anywhere from a cute, modest 1 foot tall to a towering 6 foot giant. And these guys look like they're going to ask for their own postal code. Because of this wide range, you can fit dahlias into just about any garden plan. Smaller varieties make wonderful border plants, creating bright, cheerful edging along your pathways or your flower beds. The mid-sized varieties do beautifully in containers, great for patios or desks where you want something with personality. And the tall varieties, well, put them at the back of the bed or give them a corner all to themselves. Trust me, they'll take it. Let's talk about blooming, because dahlias are real overachievers. They bloom from midsummer straight through to frost, weeks and weeks of color at a time, when a lot of your earlier perennials are just calling it quits. This long blooming period makes them fantastic for cut flower gardens too. If you love bringing arrangements into your house, dahlias will have your back all season long. To get that kind of performance, though, they do have opinions about their growing conditions. Dahlias want full sun, as in the kind of sun exposure where you can almost hear the plants sigh contentedly. 6 to 8 hours is ideal. They won't complain if they get more than that. They also like well drained, fertile soil. If your soil is heavy clay, don't worry. You can amend it with compost, aged manure, or even mound the planting area a bit to improve drainage. Dahlias really don't want to sit in cold, wet soil. They need the drainage. Their tubers will rot faster than you can say, "Why is there a mushy potato in my garden bed?" So make sure they've got really great drainage. They need water, but they don't want to sit in it. Now, how do you start dahlias? Well, you've got a couple of options really. You can grow them from seed, and the shorter cultivars are more commonly grown this way. Seed grown dahlias will actually bloom in their first summer, which is a great way to experiment with different varieties. However, most gardeners are going to choose to start them with tubers, those strange, lumpy root clumps that look like a bundle of misshapen sweet potatoes. Tubers are reliable, they come true to type, and they're easy to plant. To plant your tubers, just dig a hole about 4 inches deep. Lay the tuber horizontally with the eye pointing upward. That's that little bump at the end where the new stem will emerge. Space your tubers about 8 inches apart for smaller varieties and further apart for the bigger guys. Always wait until after your danger of your last frost has passed. Dahlias hate frost. They take frost personally. And if they get frost, they're just gonna, nope, thank you very much. Nope, not doing it. So don't plant them if there's going to be frost next weekend. Now, if you're planting the tall versions, the tall cultivars, these guys are going to need some support. If you don't stake them, they're either going to flop dramatically or they'll wait until after your biggest bloom appears and then immediately flop dramatically. So you need to have a companion stake to tie them to, or they're going to flop dramatically. Either way, it's happening, right? It doesn't matter. They're going to flop dramatically at some point. So definitely stake them. When you plant your tubers, install a stake at the same time. As the plant grows, use soft ties. Soft ties, you can use narrow strips of fabric, or you can actually buy a roll of plant tie, and it's kind of this rubbery, flexible tie, and you just cut off strips. But you want to use a soft tie to secure the stems. For shorter varieties, you might want to pinch off the shoot tips early in the season. because that pinching off encourages branching, which encourages more flowers. And honestly, more flowers is kind of the whole point of a dahlia. Watering's pretty simple, about 1 inch of water a week. If you're having a dry stretch, don't be shy. Give them a good soak. These guys like water, but again, they don't want to sit in it, so give them the water they need. They'll reward you for it with beautiful blooms. Now let's talk about climate zones. Dahlia behavior really depends on where you live. In zone 9 or warmer, anywhere that winters stay above about 20 degrees Fahrenheit, you can leave the dahlias in the ground year round and they'll come back each spring like nothing happened. But for the rest of us, especially those living in climates where winter arrives with attitude, dahlias need to be lifted and stored. Wait until the frost kills the foliage, then cut the stems a few inches above the soil level and gently lift the entire clump. You'll find several tubers connected to the central stem. Brush off excess soil, leave the clump attached, and let everything dry for a few days. Once dry, tuck the tubers into a box filled with sand, sawdust, or peat moss, and store them in a cool, dry place for the winter. Warm or damp conditions can cause tubers to rot, so storage really matters. In spring, it's time to divide. Each tuber you plant must have a visible eye, which is the growth point. A tuber without an eye won't grow, and a tuber that's shriveled or damaged won't perform well, so discard those ones. Keep the healthy ones, the ones that look plump and ready, and replant them when the frost danger has passed. It's basically selecting your strongest little warriors for the next season, except friendlier and with fewer swords. Now, where does the dahlia fit best in the garden? If you want big drama, give them a bed of their own and let them shine. For cottage gardens, mix them with cosmos or zinnias. The effect is dreamy, full, and a little chaotic in the best possible way. In a vegetable garden, dahlias make gorgeous companions along the edges. They draw in pollinators and give your practical rose a touch of glamour. And if you want patio color, the dwarf and border varieties are perfect for containers where they stay tidy and cheerful all season long. No matter where they're planted, dahlias add abundance. They are lush, full plants with generous blooms that make even a simple garden feel rich and vibrant. That's about it for me here today at Andersen Acres. If you grow dahlias, or if you've ever had one grow so big you started wondering whether it was plotting something, let me know in the comments. We'll see you tomorrow.